We are so excited to be here tonight, and we hope that you get a lot of information tonight that will help you with the coming year. First, I would like to start with some introductions. I'm Helen Wild, Chief Academic Officer, and I am joined here tonight with Julia Hilborn, who is an Instructional Technology Support Specialist, and also with our Chief Communication Officer, Lydia Martin. So tonight, we know that you are here to learn about MySchoolOnline, but I do have a couple of announcements to make first that are more general. And the first is actually for parents who have children who will be attending school in a traditional face-to-face building. We are asking that you please do a daily symptom check. And we have an example here for you. Students will be provided with this so that parents can do this every single morning. Please take your child's temperature and check for other symptoms that are outlined on the form that you will receive. This form also tells you what to do if your child is displaying symptoms. Very simply put, please do not send your child to school. We have put so many precautions in place, universal health precautions to keep your children as well as our staff safe, and you are our most important partner in that effort. So please take that very seriously, and we appreciate that for everyone's well-being. And secondly, my next announcement is really for everybody, whether you have children in MySchoolOnline or in the traditional building. This is a year where everybody has to fill out a new free and reduced lunch application. So in the past, if you have received free or reduced priced meals, you must fill out an application for that to continue. And for many of you, your circumstances may have changed. So please take a look at the application, which you can find online or at your child's school, and submit that to us right away. That is so, so important. And you will also see, we have a slide to show you that shows the meal process for those of you that are in MySchoolOnline. You will be able to go online and order your meals between Thursday and Saturday, and they will be available for pickup every Wednesday throughout St. Lucie County at various locations. And through this form, you will select your location where you want to pick up your meal. So we wanted to make sure to make those two announcements before we get into more detail about MySchoolOnline. So let's move on. Tonight we are going to be talking to you about the daily expectations for children, for our students in MySchoolOnline, as well as talk to you about what class will look like, what students will experience, and then we're going to share some tools with you, our MySchoolOnline website, as well as possibly, if we have time, we're going to talk about Teams and Canvas. We want to make sure that everybody is prepared, and tonight, of course, we invite you to submit your questions, and we hope to be able to get through a lot of the questions tonight, and if not, it lets us know what questions still need to be answered. So thank you for being here. Let's get started by talking about the student experience. What will the student feel and experience every single day? So first, on MySchoolOnline, students will join their class every day, every period, for live lessons. This is very different than what we did fourth quarter. Every teacher will be teaching directly to your child on camera, on the computer, every single day. And another element of MySchoolOnline is that your child will receive the exact same lessons, the same content as their peers who are going to a traditional school and learning in a traditional setting. And you will also receive daily instructions from your teacher or teachers, letting your child, or you, if you're the student watching tonight, know exactly what you are to do each day. So that's exactly like a classroom experience. So we're really excited that you will get that same opportunity that your peers will who are going to school. And an advantage of this is that you will have an easy transition should you decide to go back to a traditional setting throughout the year. Okay, so what should you as a student do every single day? Well, first, you need to check your email. It is important that you check for important messages, and you will also see daily announcements. Students in MySchoolOnline will receive the same announcements as their peers in school that the principal makes on the daily announcements. But you will also receive announcements from your classroom teachers. So you will also need to check into Canvas every day. And Canvas, just a reminder, is that tool that you use to see all of the resources that are available and learn what your teacher expects from you every day. You will also need to log on to Teams. This part is so important because you are following your school schedule this year. If you are in secondary school, you'll go to each class just like your schedule shows you, just the way you do when you're in a regular brick and mortar school. So your teacher will expect you to log on time. And one of our tips is try to log on early in case you have any difficulty connecting. When you log on, your teacher will take attendance the way they do in a regular classroom. So you will log on based on the instructions that the teacher gives. So for most of you, it will be at the beginning of the day or the beginning of your class, unless the teacher has given you an assignment to do first and then has you logging on at a different time, and they will let you know that. So these are some really important tips so you know how to navigate on that first day. And last, we want to make sure that you communicate with your teachers. Your teachers will see you every day and they'll see your work product, but you do need to ask for help if you need it. Okay, so during your class time, let's just share a little bit more about what that will look like. You will have a chance to interact with your peers. So you will be doing projects, you could be paired up, so you will have that student-to-student interaction as well as interacting with your teachers. You will also this time experience progress monitoring. And for those of you that went to St. Lucie Public Schools in the past, you know that we have unit assessments in all of your classes as well as your teacher tests and quizzes. And you will have those on MySchoolOnline. It is really important for the teacher to know how you're doing to be able to monitor your learning. And so you will experience that, and your teacher will show you how that will work when you are home. You will also receive interventions or enrichment. And so your teacher will do small group instruction. So there will be times when you will be asked to join a Teams meeting with your teacher or with someone who supports your teacher in the classroom, like an interventionist or a paraprofessional or an ESE service provider, who will help you with your learning in a smaller group setting, just like you've experienced in school. And also, we need to ask that you be sure to complete all of your work and follow your teacher's directions for submitting that work. In this arena, I want to talk to a moment to parents, especially for those of you that have younger children, smaller children. Your children will need help. There will be times when they might need you to come in and help them navigate the software or to turn in their assignments. Young children do need support in navigating online learning, so that's a really important role that you play. But at the same time, we ask that you not be part of the class and sit in next to the child in class, because the teacher does need to work directly with your child and all of the children that they're serving. So your role is important, and your teacher will be providing you with reminders as to what they need from you as a parent. So we really, really appreciate you at home supporting this learning. I mentioned assessments. And there's a lot of times when your child will be doing assigned work, independent work that they would be doing in school. And during those times, it's important that they work alone and they don't have any help with that work. So we're talking about academic integrity and digital citizenship. And so students will be taught to not go to other sites if it's a time when we are trying to find out how they're doing on their independent work or taking a test. So academic integrity is going to be really important to this online learning. Okay, laptops. Let's talk about laptops right now, because students will be attending face-to-face with their teacher through Teams at designated times. So that means they will not be able to share a computer with another student or adult, another child or adult. So we are issuing district laptops to all of our MySchoolOnline students. And there are 2 different types of laptops this year, and we have provided instructions for logging on to both. If you did not receive those instructions or you would like additional support, our website has 2 great videos that shows you how exactly to log on depending on which laptop you received. With that said, if your child already has a computer and your child does not need one from the district, please use your district computer. That will help us with our resource allocation, and we would appreciate that. Keep in mind the computer must have a camera and a microphone. And on our website, there are also directions for how to make sure you have all of the resources on that home computer that you would need to be successful in MySchoolOnline. We would like to transition now to show you our MySchoolOnline website that continues to evolve, and we ask that you check in on this website on a regular basis to learn how to use any new tools that we're introducing or look for any district announcements. And I'm going to turn it over to Julia now to walk us through what is currently posted on the MySchoolOnline website.
Thank you, Dr. Wild. I'm going to show everyone where to go to start and then the MySchoolOnline. So I am at the St. Lucie Public Schools website. The URL was shared on the bottom of the screen. And when you are on the home page of the website, if you scroll down just a little bit, you will see the MySchoolOnline logo. And then all of the information that you will need to get started with MySchoolOnline is located here for you. You can see up at the top there's technical help. So if you or your child gets stuck walking through any of these steps, it lets you know exactly who you should be calling for help. Is it a school or a teacher problem that can be solved, or should you be calling the help desk, and the number is listed for you at the top. So this is a great reference guide to walk through just so you know who to call. To get started, there is a MySchoolOnline orientation with Dr. Wild, and then as you go through, there are the 2 different district provided computer setups. One is going to be the boxed computer setup, and this video will walk you through the directions for how to set up your new boxed computer. And then there's an etched computer setup. The etched computer is the computer that has St. Lucie Public Schools logo on the front cover, and it did not come to you in a box. If you are going to use a personal computer that was not provided to you by the district, there is a tab for that as well, and how to download the Microsoft Suite as well as Microsoft Teams. And there's also a video on how to download Microsoft Teams on your mobile device. If you scroll down just a little bit, we have a great section for parent resources talking about communication and how you should be communicating with your child's teacher. There's some digital learning tools here. These are great accessibility features for all learners, explaining digital citizenship and what it should look like for your child and how you can support your child during this. And then there's a tab for Canvas support as well as Microsoft Teams in the Office suite. There are some great videos in here that will outline just exactly what your child needs during the Canvas process and Microsoft Teams. Scrolling down just a little more to the bottom of the page are student resources, and Canvas in Teams is located here as well. And then at the very bottom of the page are some quick tips and apps that you can access for kindergarten, in elementary school, middle school, and high school. I'm going to go all the way back up to the top of the page. New this year, if you were with us last year in St. Lucie Public Schools, at the very top, Canvas is now a link at the very top, as well as your student email. So when you log into your computer and you open your internet browser to St. Lucie Public Schools, you don't have to go very far to find it. You can just open up your webmail, which will take you to your email that you should be checking every day. Over in the left-hand corner is the waffle, and your email is located right at the top. Also at the top of My School Online is Canvas, and when you click on Canvas, it will automatically bring you to the login page and bring you directly to your dashboard where your courses will live. This is where you will find the lessons from your teachers each day.
Julia, could you take a moment and show the norms for students on teams that are also on the website?
Sure. So when you are on the website and you are on the My School page, if you scroll down just a little bit into Getting Started, the Getting Started tab is broken into two different sections, Getting Started with Teams and Getting Started with Canvas. When you watch these videos, it will explain exactly what is recommended and expected of you each day. When you log into Teams, that's where all your virtual meetings will be held with your teachers and communication, announcements, and then when you log into Canvas, that's where you will be submitting assignments, any kind of group work, and announcements will be posted there as well.
And there's an infographic on the webpage too that shows students exactly what behaviors are expected in Teams. And if there's time, we can show you those as well to be sure that students start each class knowing exactly what behaviors are appropriate. And at this time, we want to check to see if there's any questions. We do have a lot more to show you, but we would be happy to take some questions first.
Sure, absolutely. We do have quite a few questions coming in. One question that's being asked quite frequently is, when will schedules be posted? When can students go in and see who their teacher or teachers will be?
Okay. Yes, we know that schedules are usually posted before the first day of school. And this year is a little bit different because people are making their final decisions as to whether or not they are choosing a traditional school setting or coming to My School Online. So our counselors have been very busy making those changes, and I know schools are starting to post their schedules now, so they'll be finalized over the weekend, and you should check your Skyward account now because some schools have posted, but each school is at a different point, and as we know, school starts Monday, so they'll be there for you. And I know many of our teachers have reached out to me today, and they have been contacting their children, their students. So I know that has started.
Okay, a follow-up question to that is, when the schedules are available, how does a student find their schedule?
Okay, I know that every school will have their own procedures and process for that, but you can go to Family Access and take a look at your schedule and know where your classes are. And Julia, is there anything that you would like to add to that answer?
When they log into Canvas, they will see their courses on their dashboard, just as the view that I had just showed everyone, and as well as Teams. So I think the most helpful would be to start with Skyward Family Access and then to go from there.
And this is a good time to mention that Skyward and Teams both operate from your student schedule. Skyward drives Teams in Canvas, so they know what classes to attach to each child. So if there is a schedule change, that does take a while to refresh, and you wouldn't see it till the next day. So that does affect a final schedule within Canvas and Teams. So please be sure to minimize any schedule change requests at this time so that you can see everything that you need to be successful.
Okay, another question that we have, I know you did talk about it very briefly, but maybe you can restate this. A few questions about what are the hours for My School Online, and another question tied to that is, one parent commented that their students would be going to a grandparent's house and wouldn't be online during the day. How would that impact them with My School Online?
Okay, those are excellent questions actually. The My School Online hours are exactly the same as your child's school hours. So when you are making your selection for school, you have to keep in mind that children are going to be expected to be in their classes at their class scheduled time. So high school starts earlier than our other schools do. So if the student's first period in high school starts at 7:33, that is what time school starts for that high school student. So all of the schools, you can check your school's hours by going to our school district website and looking up your specific school. That is in line with your child's schedule. If you selected MySchoolOnline and your child is not able to be online at a particular time, you would want to contact the school to see if there is a better option for you. Because it is not a flexible virtual program like some of the others that are available out there. Mosaic Digital Academy and St. Lucie Virtual are flexible, although their enrollment does close earlier and has closed. MySchoolOnline does have completely different expectations. So please call your school for advice if you are finding yourself in that situation.
Okay, another frequently asked question that I'm seeing is about dress code. What is the dress code for MySchoolOnline students?
Okay, the student code of conduct does still apply. And with online learning, probably the most important student behavior is about participating fully and not causing any disruptions on your Teams calls. That is just like your classroom. And therefore, dress should be appropriate for school, not distracting. You should get up and get dressed every day. So pretty close to your school's dress code, just making sure that it is nothing that would cause any disruption in a classroom setting.
Okay, do we have time for some more questions still?
Let's take one more.
Okay, one more question right now is, and this is a great question, if a student transitions back to traditional classroom in-person learning, say at the 9 weeks, will they have the same teachers that they have for MySchoolOnline?
Yes, that really is an excellent question, and the answer is actually going to vary. In some cases, that will not be possible because our MySchoolOnline teachers are really dedicated to providing a real high-quality virtual experience. And so if you're an elementary student, you have a MySchoolOnline teacher. If that school still needs to retain that teacher in a MySchool teaching schedule, your child would then be transitioned to another teacher who is teaching in the virtual setting. But with that said, you do not have to worry about them missing any content because these teachers are not only following the same exact scope and sequence and using the same resources, they are continuing to plan together in their collaborative planning sessions. In addition, if you were in a high school schedule, it is possible that you would keep the same teachers because many of our teachers are teaching both MySchoolOnline and virtual. So it is very possible that you would keep them. Another way that you would keep your same teacher is if a lot of children made the decision at the same time, which is really why it is best to wait until the 9 weeks, because at the 9-week period we may see a lot of people making that decision to move back, depending on their comfort level and what the trends are looking like at that time. So if enough students moved back together, even the elementary teacher could then transition back to a traditional schedule. So the answer at this point is maybe and maybe not. That will vary. Okay, Ms. Martin, would you like us to show something else to our parents?
Sure. Maybe Julia can navigate through some other things. I do have a lot of questions about passwords for logging in. Is there something you could show them related to logging into the computers?
Sure, I'd be happy to. On the MySchoolOnline website, on the web page, depending on the computer that you did receive, if it is a district computer or a personal computer, the personal computers, obviously you will not need a district login to operate. You will need the district login to access your email, Teams, and Canvas. To get onto those district provided computers, the setup is different for each one, but your login credentials remain the same. So the login credentials for students is going to be their 5-6 number. It is 11 digits long, I believe, and it is 562, usually followed by a series of numbers after, and then at stlucieschools.org. And then the password is the student's lunch number. If you are new to St. Lucie Public Schools or you are a kindergarten student, you would need to get that information from the school, and the teachers will be calling with that information as well. So that is all outlined right here on the website for you in both of these videos. And there's also a place where you can download the instructions if you need help. So accessing the guide will lay out the setup instructions for you with all the information you need to get started.
We have a lot more questions unless you have some more presentation.
Go ahead, let's answer some
Okay,
questions.
some more questions, and these are great questions that are coming in. There is questions about, are students going to be using Zoom to be able to see their teachers and classmates, or is it a different program that they're going to be using?
Yes, Zoom is a very popular program, especially in business, but we are using Microsoft Teams for that purpose. And if you are not familiar with Teams, but you are familiar with Zoom, you will see very many similarities. For those of you that did our fourth quarter online learning and did use Teams, there have been some upgrades. So you will see now that 49 people can be shown on the screen at one time. It used to be 9, I believe. And so you will, when you see that and you have 49 faces on at the same time, your bar, your navigation bar will move to the top right-hand corner. Before it was in the middle of the screen. And if we do get a chance to show you Teams, we can show that. Do you want to show that now, Julia?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So when you receive a district computer, whether it is the boxed computer or an etched computer, Teams is going to be loaded onto the desktop for you. So you do not have to download Teams. It is already here for you. And when you open up Teams, you're going to see a dashboard with all of your classes on it from here. So we are going to go ahead and just click into one of our test classes. And depending on how your teacher has his or her team set up, you may have a channel for meetings. When you click on this, you're going to see all the different meeting times that you can log in. They are displayed by date and time, so it's very clear on when you are expected to log in to a live meeting. And I'm actually just going to take you into one just to show you what it looks like. I clicked on that meeting time, and right at the top corner I have join. What's nice about Microsoft Teams is before you actually go into the live meeting, it gives you a nice little preview of what it's going to look like. And it gives you the option to mute your microphone. So you know ahead of time before you get in the meeting, go ahead and mute that microphone. That way you're not disrupting class if you are coming in late. And this way, if there's any background noise, you're not going to disrupt anybody else in the class. The other nice feature of this preview is the camera option. So it always is defaulted to however you used it last. Mine was off, so you can see that it's not on right now. As soon as I toggle that button on, I can see myself. Hi, everyone. And now a new option popped up right here in the middle. This is new. It's a new feature. If you click on it, it's going to give you the option to either blur out your background or to pick one of these fun preloaded backgrounds. This is a nice feature if you don't want to show what's behind you. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick one of these fun backgrounds, and there you go. This is exactly what everyone in the live meeting would see. So if you are sitting in your kitchen and you're working at a table, you can blur out the background and you can also mute your microphone. And then once you hit join now, that's exactly what it will look like. This is a great pop-up if you're using a computer. It will ask you if you're going to allow access to Microsoft Teams. You definitely want to do that. Perfect. So now I'm inside of a live meeting with my teacher, and up at the top is where the bar is now. So it used to be, if you were with us fourth quarter, down at the bottom. It is moved to the top of the screen. This is also a new feature that I'd really love to show you guys. It is the raise your hand feature. So if you have a question during a live lesson with your teacher, you can just click on the raise your hand button. Your teacher will be able to see that you have your hand raised and can answer your question when it is time appropriate. And at the top, at any time, if you need to toggle on and off your camera, you can do so, as well as your microphone. To leave the meeting, you just leave right with the red button at the top.
Okay, and we have plenty more questions coming in. So another question is about some people still have not had an opportunity to pick up a laptop or curriculum materials from their child's school. When will they be able to do that?
Well, first I would say, please go to your school's website or call your school. And I know that schools are having multiple pickup times, and they have posted those times. Most of our schools, maybe all of our schools, are doing Saturday pickup as well. So please make sure to contact your child's school and get that laptop so you're ready to go on Monday.
Another question is about how many students can the students expect to see in their classes online?
That is an excellent question. Well, just like in a traditional school setting, that really does depend on the grade level and the subject. So you could see 13 students in a class, and you could see 35 students in a class. It really does depend on the subject area, the grade level, and what that teacher's schedule looks like. And at the same time, you could also see a very, very small group. Your teacher might just pull 3 students together for that small group instruction. So you're going to see throughout the day, you're going to see different numbers of your peers logging on with you.
Okay, another question is referring to a parent who has 3 students at home who will be doing MySchool, elementary students, and the question has to do with them having different lunch times and different recess or PE times. How can they manage that? Any recommendations?
Yes, that is a really good question. I have not been asked that one before. And I think what you will find after the first couple of days of school, of what that routine is going to look like. So first, I do want to clarify a misconception that students will be glued to their computer all day long. That is not the case, because students in school go from a live lesson. Many of us would think of it maybe as a lecture or an interactive lesson with a teacher. And then they do independent work or group work. They might do a project, as well as take brain breaks and have recess, as Lydia mentioned. So you will see a sort of pattern that will emerge for each of your children in that house with 3 children in the home. So you will begin to see that. So your children will have different lunch periods most likely on their actual schedule, and that may be what you need to stick to, but you will know very soon. So if the child has been giving an assignment to do during that time, and you could switch that time and have all 3 children eat lunch together and then go back to their work, you will see how that will work. Depending on the age of the children and what their workload looks like, their approach to work and their style of work. So every home is going to look different, but that is an excellent question, and I would say maybe keep track of it the first couple days and see what the pattern begins to look like. And if you have a real need, you could communicate with your child's teacher to see if there's any flexibility within that schedule.
Okay, we have quite a few questions about open houses. Some people are asking, when will the open house be, or meet the teacher night? And then the follow-up to that is there a different open house for MySchoolOnline students?
Okay, so all of our schools have produced a virtual open house this year. And so those have gone out, and I have been looking at them as well. They're posted on the school's websites. They're also, many of them are on YouTube. And those are informational sessions, so for our 9th graders or any new students to the school, our 6th graders, kindergarten students, they're used to going to school for that general open house. And that is where you learn information about the school. So that is for everybody. MySchoolOnline and for those students on a traditional schedule. In addition, we are asking our classroom teachers to also reach out to their MySchool students. So you will see that many of our teachers are going to be doing a Teams meeting that is specific for parents, so you can learn the teacher expectations that are specific to the teacher, just like you do every other year. So you will have that opportunity as well. I think you will see teachers publishing their office hours or times when they can take phone calls. For most of our teachers and their busy schedules, MySchool teachers, email is probably your best way to communicate with those teachers on a more regular basis. But every school will be designing their own open house schedules and information, so please contact your child's school.
Okay, thank you. Another question about absences. First, what will happen if the teacher of the MySchoolOnline class is absent? And second, what about if a student is absent from a MySchoolOnline class?
Okay, so let's start with the student. So daily attendance is expected in MySchoolOnline. Being in school is the only way to learn. So when you're feeling well enough to learn, please make sure that you're in school. And so the teacher will be taking attendance just like they do in school, including tardies. So that's why we're talking about being on time. For students who are absent, the teacher will also provide makeup work. It'll most likely just be accessible for you in Canvas. And students in MySchoolOnline will also be provided with consumables, which are workbooks, the same types of text materials that they would use in school. And so some of your makeup work could also be assignments from those workbooks that you will probably have already been provided with, or you will be picking up before Monday. For the teacher absences, if a teacher is going to be absent and they know they're going to be absent, they are going to let you and your child know ahead of time and provide what's called an asynchronous lesson. So they will provide a lesson for your child to do while they are not there. That would be the only time when you would not receive a daily live lesson from your child's teacher. So on those days, it might be a video or some other type of independent assignment. It might be a computer program that the child is assigned to work through. I know you're familiar with things like iReady. And in addition, it could be a pre-recorded video of the teacher providing that instruction. So there's a number of different ways that the teacher can address their absence. Just like a teacher in regular brick and mortar school, there are times when there is an unplanned absence. And in those instances, the teacher leaves a lesson plan, so to speak, for the substitute teacher to utilize. With MySchoolOnline, they will have lessons available for those days, but there won't be a need for a substitute. Attendance will be taken either the next day by the teacher or that day by another school staff member. Maybe the instructional coach or the assistant principal will come on and make an announcement and make sure the students know what to do that day. For long-term leaves, like a maternity leave, there will be a substitute assigned in those cases, and they will work exactly the same way using the same district and teacher resources as all of the other students in that grade level.
Okay, another question that we have is there are a few people stating that they feel like they followed the directions that were given to them, but they're still having a problem logging onto the computer. What is their next step?
Okay, I can let Julie answer this, but I want to mention that today there was a period of time today where there was a glitch and that people were not able to get on. So if it was today, first I would suggest to turn off your computer and try it again. And I heard you say you followed the directions. If those were the printed directions, I do suggest you go look at those 2 videos online. They're excellent. They walk you through it step by step. And if that doesn't work, at that point, it would probably be necessary to call 429-HELP and make sure that there isn't something specific to your child's ID number causing it or any other type of issue. Julia is our technology expert, so I want to make sure that she has a chance to add to that answer if I did leave anything out.
I don't think you left anything out. I think that was a great response. I just want to make sure that you are using the correct directions for the computer that you received. The directions are very different. So if you received the computer outside of a box, it's not brand new, it has been used before, and it has the St. Lucie Public Schools logo on the front cover, those directions are very different. And in order to log into that device, it is a generic login that is posted on the My School page. It's similar to the one that we used during fourth quarter, and it is listed in the directions here for you. If you did receive a brand new boxed computer, the steps are a little longer. I think there's like 15 of them, and it walks you through selecting a keyboard and the US and your region. So just make sure that you are following the correct directions, and then like Dr. Wild said, if there is still an issue with it, you would need to call 429-HELP.
And although she said it's 15 steps, please don't be overwhelmed. It's like a widget or an app that just really tells you what
Very
to
quick.
do next.
Yes, very quick.
Okay, next question is a question about supplies for students doing MySchoolOnline. How do they know which supplies they're actually going to need?
Yes. Go to your school district's website first, because your supply list is probably exactly the same, because you are doing the same work. Your resources are going to be available to you in Canvas. So other than the consumables that the school will be giving to you, your textbooks and resources like that are embedded right within Canvas, but you will still need your standard paper and pens and pencils and rulers depending on your grade level. So please check your school's website, and certainly on the first day, if you haven't heard from your child's teacher by Monday, the teacher will give you that information and time to retrieve those items.
Okay. Another question, looping back to curriculum resources and books. How would a student know if they have their own computer at home and they don't need to pick up a laptop? Do they still need to go to the school to pick up curriculum resources? Elementary, middle, high school?
Yes, that is true for all grade types, meaning elementary school, K-8, middle, and high school. Not necessarily all grade levels. Juniors and seniors have fewer consumable type workbooks, but everybody does have some consumables. So contact your school if you're not sure, but definitely if you are in grades K through 10, you have consumables at school waiting for you.
All right, a couple people have also asked, will they be able to stay in MySchoolOnline for the entire school year?
Yes, that is an excellent question, and when we first began this endeavor, we weren't sure. But at this time, we are expecting that this will be an all-year option. If things change drastically and there was absolutely no need, we would transition everybody back. But at this point, we are expecting this to be a year-long option.
Okay, another question is about, are parents allowed to help redirect younger students if they find that they're not paying attention? Any recommendations there?
Yes, and that is part of the parent's role, especially with those young children. We would ask that you not come into the class, but you will see that there's times when that would be appropriate, when the teacher asks everybody to turn off their microphone, turn off their Teams and do their independent work or take a break from it. That would be a great time to redirect. And if you do see that there is a need, the teachers will use the same type of classroom management techniques that they use in school. But if you do see that there is a need above and beyond that, please be certain to make sure that the microphone and the camera are off, and so that your redirection for your child does not disrupt the other children in the class.
Okay, another question is about if a student has to be in a car during their class because maybe they're going to work with their parent, would that be okay? To be on the computer while they were in the car?
The only barrier there would be if they had a hotspot or internet access, providing they are somewhere where they could access a strong enough internet connection. It's okay, no matter where they are. That would maybe be a great time to use the feature in Teams that Julia shared, the blurring of the background. Another time would be if you just didn't make your bed. I was thinking that while she was talking. But that would be a great time if you wanted to change your background, because the light within the car might be pretty bright and hard for the teacher to see that student.
Okay, great. Another question has to do, hold on, I missed it, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It has to do with if there's a power outage at a person's house and they are without power, how should they handle that if they are relying on their students being on the computer?
That is an excellent question, and this time of year we know that it will happen. Good time to point out that that could happen to the teacher as well. So if you see a sudden disconnect, it could be something like that. With the children, if they are home and they've already had the opportunity to look at what their day holds for them, that would be a great time to move to the independent work. Go ahead and start the workbook or a project, or take your recess. If that period extends and the student doesn't know what to do next, just keep going back and checking the computer and make sure that it hasn't come back on. Especially if it's the teacher's power that's gone off, keep going back and checking. And if all else fails, there's always going to reading and get some independent reading time in. And the teachers will understand that. When we know about it at the district level, we'll send notice out to all the teachers to make them aware that there was an area of the county that lost power. And so sometimes there is a whole geographical region where the power goes out, and we will make sure those teachers are aware.
I think this would be a great time to also add in that if you need to communicate with your teacher and your computer has malfunctioned or isn't turning on, or you did lose power, both Teams and Canvas are an app that you can download on your device, whether it be a tablet or an iPad or your mobile device. So yes, the computer is the best way, but if you had those downloaded, and those videos are on the MySchool website as well on how to do that, you could communicate with the teacher that way and just kind of let them know what's going on through the mobile app.
Excellent, excellent suggestion. I did forget to mention the apps, because that's a great backup, if for any reason your computer isn't working. Excellent. Lydia, do you think we could take a break and just have Julia real quick show everybody what Teams looks like?
I think that would be a great idea.
Okay.
I think you're referring to maybe what Canvas looks like?
Yes, of course. You already showed everybody what Teams looks like.
So,
Canvas.
So when you are on that MySchool website, or just the St. Lucie website in general, up at the top, I had mentioned that Canvas is now one of the options that you can click on. When you open Canvas, it will ask you to sign in. I am already signed in, and then it brings you to the dashboard. This dashboard is going to look different for every student. This is, as we mentioned before, pulled from Skyward. So the courses that your child is enrolled in Skyward is what is going to show up on their dashboard once their courses are published by their teacher. So this is an ELA course that I have ready, and if we click into it, you're going to see a nice welcome page that has been created. It has quick access buttons for students right at the top. If it is an elementary aged child, there's also a button for parents and how to access information and help for you as well. And then there's the help button, and when you select the help option, it does walk you through different steps. They're all tabbed out nicely at the top. How to set up notifications in Canvas, how to submit assignments, whether you are sitting with your child helping your child submit an assignment, or whether you're a student looking at this, how to complete quizzes and discussion boards. All of this is located right on that home page when you log into the course for that subject or that grade level. And then at the bottom, most likely you will find some sort of teacher contact, and this would be their email address and their name. A lot of teachers I've seen have updated this page, and it looks very user-friendly. Announcements will show up here as well. And then we are directing students to click on either this big units button that is here or the modules tab. They do take you to the same place. So if you click on modules, this is where you can access all of the information that your teacher has for you, whether it be textbook material, videos to watch, articles to read. You would just click on it just like a regular link and it would take you to the content for that day or that unit.
Okay. Thank you, Julia.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think we have time for just a handful more questions.
Okay.
One of them is a comment really about a lot of the programs that you're referencing are not compatible with a tablet. So that so a parent would like to know, can they use a tablet instead of a laptop computer?
You want to take that one?
Sure. So with a tablet, a lot of the devices or a lot of the applications do look vastly different. Canvas does have a student app that you can download. There's also a teacher app, so I'd just like to reference both of them. The one that you would be looking to download says student and it is red in color. And it works and functions just the same as it does online, so that's a great one. And then as well as Microsoft Teams and even the Microsoft Outlook for email. Where it gets a little tricky is each tablet or device that you're using, depending on the software, is where Word and PowerPoint do look a little different. So when it comes to actually creating a document or a PowerPoint that they would be submitting, those may get a little tricky. However, on the school website, you can download the full Office suite for free on those personal devices. So I want to make sure that everyone is aware that those are offered to our students in St. Lucie for free. So you shouldn't be paying for the Microsoft suite. You know, that was a big one in the past.
Excellent.
Okay, a question about what about the assessments through the state of Florida, the FSA and end of course exams? Will those be happening this year?
So our information right now is that they will be happening. The how, we are still waiting for what those procedures will look like. I mentioned that we're going to be doing our unit assessments. We're also going to be doing our iReady diagnostics, and there will be tools in place to prevent students from opening other windows. It's still important to practice academic integrity, but there will be some tools in place. So it's very possible that many of these assessments coming from the state level could potentially be able to be taken online, but that is not a definite yet. So the alternative, if they are required for all students, which we fully expect that they will be at this time, students would then have to come in during off hours in very small groups. We would set up a very safe smaller group situation to make people that are enrolled in my school feel more comfortable. So we'll wait to see that ourselves, and as soon as we have that information, we will make that available to everybody. Excellent question.
Okay, I think probably the last question is, what is the requirement for students to use the camera during their class?
The teacher will direct the students when it is time to use their camera, and there will be times when it is required. It's going to be important that the teacher does have the opportunity to check in and visually see the students every day. That is how a teacher knows what the student is grasping, what the student is learning and needs help with. There will be times also when the student might have to hold up an answer, similar to like they do on whiteboards in class. So if somebody does not want the camera on because there's multiple people in the household or for any reason, please listen for the teacher's direction, or teach your child to listen for the teacher's direction as to when it must be turned on, and then use that blur feature or that background feature. But it is an expectation that students are seen by the teacher whenever the teacher does ask for that. And of course, during assessment time, all of the students will have their cameras on. That is a requirement for the assessments.
I think that's all the time we have for questions tonight.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And if this is a helpful forum, we will continue to do it. I want to just mention that we do have resources available for students with special needs, students that speak other languages. We will also have help desk people available that speak other languages, because it is so important to us that you all have the information that you need to have a great start to the school year and really thrive throughout this school year. We invite you to send us any questions that you have, but please communicate with your child's school and your child's teacher. And I know we're all going to have a great year despite the circumstances that we are all sharing together. I also want to thank the crew here that made this possible. They do an excellent job. And my teammates, Julia and Lydia, thank you for your help this evening. Thank you, and have a great year.